Welcome to the Corporate Training Academy series for sustainable training tools. This video will look at intellectual property and systemised sharing for those of us working in learning and development and training teams within organisations. So do you share everything you create? This video will talk about the importance of understanding intellectual property and how it can result in saving time, reducing duplication, improving collaboration, and sharing resources. Make it once, use it multiple times in multiple ways. So what is intellectual property anyway? It's a legal concept where a creator is given exclusive rights recognised by law to an intangible asset such as words, phrases, symbols, designs, artistic works, music, and so on. And it's often shown in the form of copyright, patents, trademarks, industrial or design rights. Why should you care about intellectual property? To be a fabulous trainer or educator requires creativity, effort, and thoughtful invention. I know you put a lot of work into finding ways to engage, inspire, and develop your colleagues and to make your workplace better. But do you own exclusive rights to the products you create? Are you a paid employee? If yes, then guess who owns the products you create? That's right, the organisation you work for owns the copyrights or the rights to your creations. Well, in most cases anyway. So how does that make you feel? It makes me excited, and here's why. There's absolutely no reason for stockpiling or protecting your resources. Have you ever worked in a team where everyone seemed to be doing their own thing? You had some demarcation of duties like I do technical training and you do the soft skills training, which may help with work distribution and a level of specialisation, but you still need to share and touch base. There's crossover, and you should be able to bounce ideas and observations off each other to ensure consistent messages and standards. A part of what you do in on-the-job intervention might actually be really useful for someone else who's doing the more traditional training sessions. Or perhaps work could be combined and repackaged into online resources if you work together. Or there's my pet personal peeve, duplication of resources and efforts. I've worked with and in some really large organisations which are geographically dispersed, with regional learning and development staff who are isolated from head office resources and even other trainers or educators in their own region. A little questioning almost always confirmed that the trainers had little or no contact with each other for sharing resources or personal development and coaching. I'd regularly hear things like, oh, we just work differently, or we work on different stuff. I often find that each area is creating an orientation package, a safety training package, human resource mandatory training, database training, yap. Sure, some parts of this may be specific to their little part of the world, but most of it's organisation centric. Duplication is a major time waster. So why is it so exciting that you don't own your own creations? It's because you're obliged to share, and so is everyone else. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, just look at what's available and tweak it. This is especially useful when you create a bank of activities. Let's say that you know there's been case studies, scenarios, role plays, best practice, exemplars, flowcharts. You know that they are fabulous learning tools that someone spent ages working on. Why can't you just adjust them a little bit to suit a different purpose and reuse them? You can take the best of what others have to offer, and it doesn't take too long to work out who creates the good stuff. And these people become the L&D gurus of your organisation. So my question is, why couldn't you become the L&D guru for your organisation? So let's talk about sharing and how to get systemised and how to do that. What do I mean by systemised sharing? It may require some culture shift to get everyone on board for sharing resources. But as a learning and development professional, a huge part of your job is change agent. Get out there, set the standards, sell the benefits, and sell the managers on the idea. How many versions of orientation and onboarding are there in your organisation? How many versions of communicating with difficult clients or communicating with your staff? Sell the idea that a central bank of resources will save time while developing a community of practice between your learning and development staff. Make sure there's a place to keep and share the resources. Perhaps this is a dedicated shared folder on the server, or there's some fantastic software coming out now that can do this. Perhaps you've got a great learning management system where you can save your resources. Agree to a naming and storage convention. You really need to create policy and procedure around this, because otherwise people just don't do it. And decide on some agreed standards. For example, all activities will come with instructions, with materials and expectations around feedback. Package them. And just a quick reminder though, you need to be selective about this notion. There are some organisations that have some elements which can't be shared for reasons of confidentiality, so do think that through with your organisation. So what can you do? Create a central bank of training products and resources for all L&D training staff and coaches to access. Or, if that's too big for you right away, just set the example locally. Begin to sell the benefits. Contact the other trainers and coaches in your area and let them know that you're starting a central bank of materials by making yours available to share. Explain why and how you plan to give them access. Encourage them to join in. Send a quick email when you add some additional resources. Keep them thinking about the idea. You're demonstrating generosity and creativity while acting strategically for the organisation and for your colleagues. You may be surprised how quickly people get on board. There are many people out there feeling a bit adrift and alone in training roles. So share the idea that the organisation paid for the resources, so you're creating a place to store them. Some people will find this idea a bit frightening because they're uncomfortable with external scrutiny, and that's pretty natural, but do it anyway. Others will be reluctant to share their work because they feel it's really good and they want to keep all the credit to themselves. I don't get that personally, but perhaps you could suggest that sharing will actually get their work more widely recognised. Most of what we discuss in the rest of the series on sustainable training to save time and reduce duplication relies on sharing resources and getting over the desire to claim intellectual property over materials the organisation actually paid for. I leave you with this thought. What do you have on your computer right now that would be useful to someone else in your organisation? Make it once. Use it multiple times in multiple ways. How do you feel about the idea of sharing your resources and being able to use those created by others in your organisation? Use the comment section to tell us what you think, or what you do already. Was this useful? I hope so. Leave a comment, share the video. Use this video to start a conversation with your team. Use it to train other trainers. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next video.